guys, Selfcast Dad here, back for another survival guide. Today we are going to be cooking and foraging. So we're going to start off by making a campfire. We're going to do that by placing small stones around the center of our crafting menu, just like so. Then you put that on your tool belt, and then you can right click and place that on the ground. And we're just going to take it over here and put it right beside our other one. So the next thing we need is a cooking pot, which we're going to make by using an iron ingot, turning it into forging iron, just by dropping it in the center of our inventory. Now you can be lucky enough to find a cooking pot in the outside world, but sometimes you can't. So we're just going to lay out our forging iron in a U-shaped pattern coming from the center of the crafting menu, just like that. And then we're going to place this in our fire, and we're going to place it in the cookware slot. And as you see, it gives us 4 slots that we can now use to cook things. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to cook is goldenrod tea, and what we're going to look for is these little yellow flowers over here. And we're just going to go ahead and grab some of these real quick like. Now goldenrod tea is useful because it cures dysentery, and it also has the equivalent of hydration equal to 2 waters. So we're just going to go ahead and throw this into the campfire here, like so, and put a goldenrod in there with it. And it doesn't matter how you stack these or how you put them, it will only cook goldenrod teas. So the next thing we need is a fuel source. So typically we would go chop down a tree, but instead I think I'm just going to grab this chair for now and put it in there. And as you see, the chair has a burn time of 20 seconds, which should be just about enough to cook up our goldenrod tea. But it looks like our time is going to be a little bit off, so I'm just going to go ahead and chop up this stick, throw it in there too, and that should probably give us enough. No, looks like we're still going to be just a little bit off, so we're going to go grab this real quick, throw another stick in, and that should give us plenty of time to cook our goldenrod. So we're just going to wait it out for a minute, and as you see, the red bar fills. When it's full, there we have our goldenrod. And it looks like we had an extra stick left over. Now the other thing I really like about goldenrod tea is when you drink it, it also gives you a stamina boost, which is nice. Now the next thing we're going to learn today is how to take unsafe water and make it safe. So we're heading over here to this little lake, and we've got our empty jars, and we're going to fill them up in here, and just like so, with a right click of the button. And as you see, it fills all of your jars, and you see it has a 100% chance of giving you dysentery. And it also says that it's curable with goldenrod tea. So we're going to go ahead and drink that, and you see the status icon of dysentery. And then we're going to drink our goldenrod tea, and it goes away. So I'm not really sure why you would be drinking murky water if you have goldenrod tea, though. Look at that. There's 3 supply drops over there. We're going to head back to camp, and we're going to boil up this water and make it safe for consumption. And of course, I'm headed the wrong way. Okay, so we are back at camp, and what we're going to do is boil up our murky water. And all we have to do is take this water, drop it in there in the cooking pot, and you see it comes out as bottled water. So we're going to add a fuel source. Be sure to hit the cook button, otherwise it won't cook at all. And we're just going to wait it out for a minute. And there we have our water, safe and ready for human consumption. So we're going to look at some of the other recipes you can make with the cooking pot. You can put a bottle of water in there with an egg and make a boiled egg. You can also put coffee beans in there and make coffee, which is awesome for stamina. It's a pretty amazing deal. You can also cook up meat. You can do venison, rabbit, pork, and I haven't tried cooking rotten meat off of the dogs yet, but I'm sure you can do that too. Now that will completely consume your bottle. You won't get the empty bottle back off that. So what you want to do if you don't want to use your water is you do a 3x3 with the short iron pipe, and it will make a cooking grill. And you can use that in the fire instead of the cooking pot, and you can cook meat the same way. You can do your venison, which we'll go ahead and cook that up, I think. You can also do that with the pork. You can do it with rabbit, but it doesn't look like it'll let you grill up an egg. However, if you have pork and an egg, then it will let you make bacon and eggs. So there we have it, and you see that our venison smells. It gives us a little status effect. So that's something you kind of want to watch out for. It is the danger of having fresh meat over canned. So that is something you want to look out for, and try and keep that stuff put away if you can help it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all my food put back away, make sure my stuff's in the fire, and then we will move on to foraging. Okay, so we are now ready to build a forge, and what we need for that is a short iron pipe, and we're going to put that one above the bottom corner. And then we're going to take our stones, we're going to do 3 across, 3 above that, and then 1 on each corner, and that builds us a forge. So again, we're going to put that on our tool belt, and then we'll just right click to drop that, left click to turn it, and we'll put it right there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at our forge, and as you see, it's got some stuff over here. It's got a place for mold, a place for resource or material, and a place for fuel. So first thing we're going to have to do is get some clay to make a mold. So usually you can use a shovel, and clay will be this kind of tannish brown looking material right here. See, that's clay, and you just dig it up and move itself to your inventory, and that's what you need to really do anything with a forge once you've got the forge built. So we're going to put that in the center of our inventory and direct that into clay lumps. That's the first thing we need, and look at that, we have a whole bunch now. So it's way more than we'll ever need. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a U just below center of our inventory, and that will make a iron mold, just like so. Now there are a whole bunch of different kinds of molds you can make, just depending on where you put them. See, if we put them at the bottom, it'll make a tungsten mold, and we'll just search real quick for molds, and you see all the different kinds of molds you can make, concrete to weapon parts. But some of these you have to have the part placed in the middle, like the glass mold, the glass jar mold, which we're going to go ahead and make. And you see we've made the mold, but we don't have a jar. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drink our water, which will give us an empty jar in our inventory, and we'll drop that right in. And as you see, when you make the mold, it consumes your jar that you used. So we're going to go ahead and come over here and start forging some stuff. And we're going to put the iron mold in there first, and then we're going to take some scrap metal. And as you see, it gives you a weight below the scrap metal that you put in. And I haven't quite really explored how that works yet, because they've just recently changed that from the old style. So we're going to go ahead and put the fuel source in, and then it'll start cooking on its own. We don't have to push button this time. And as you see, as it starts forging our ingot, it will cook down our metal, and the weight will start decreasing until we have an ingot pop out over here. So there it is. And so that's how you forge iron ingots, which is used to make a lot of things, everything from tools to reinforced armor, to the cooking pot that we made earlier. So if you really get hard up for boiling some water, you can always build a forge and get some clay, and then build a cooking pot from that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get our materials out, and grab that too, and we're going to go ahead and move on to how to forge some jars. Now, to make the jars, you're going to need the material of sand to make the glass. So you can use the sand to make crushed sand, or you can even use sandstone to make crushed sand. But we're going to go ahead and use both of them, and you see that they both stack up real nicely. And so that's going to be our material for the jar, and when we throw that in, it just automatically starts cooking it down, and glass jars cook pretty quickly. Now making glass jars isn't as big of an issue now, that when you drink your water you get the empty jar back, so it's not as important to survival as it used to be in the game, because you used to have to farm jars to keep a good steady supply of water going, or to manufacture lots of yucca juice, however you want to say it. But that's not as important anymore, so forging jars is I'd almost say it's kind of obsolete at this point since the Alpha 9 update. Well, so that's about it for this Survivor Guide. I hope you guys found it educational, and I hope you guys learned some new things, and especially about how to survive. We're just going to go ahead and get all these campfires going, and make sure we got a good light source before night hits, and so we don't get scared of the dark. But this is Selfcast Dad, and I will see you guys later in the zombie apocalypse.